Alright, we are live. Welcome back to the CNC Arcade, everybody. So this morning I was just doing a little playing around here. Kind of getting a little burned out playing the same decks over and over. Yes, it definitely helps when you master the troops that you're using, so that way you can get all the troop interactions, and usually that ends up with your best attempt at winning. So it increases your odds. So today I want to try something a little different. We're going to try make a strategy video, and I like to do everything live. I don't like to only show you guys what, the highlights reel of, this deck is perfect and look at all these wins I got. I would rather do everything live and in real time, so that way you can see, the wins, the loss, the tragedy, the heartbreak, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, if you will. I think it's a little more real that way, because life's not always perfect. So with that being said, let's hop into what I'm doing here. So I was playing around this morning, trying to come up with something that's a little different than what I'm used to, and I settled on this. Some mammoth tank madness here. So as you can see, early game, we're going to be scouting with our rifle guys here, and then once we get a good feel for what's going on, we're going to try and deploy some machine gun squads. Now, capturing the first missile is not absolutely necessary with this deck. Capturing the first missile is a good plus, but really the objective is to hold off the missile launch for as long as possible. And the reason we want to do that is because we want to get 2 Tiberium harvesters out, and we want to really start raking in some Tiberium, because at a cost of 230, this big boy is very hard to get to. But as you all know, once you get one out, it's a scary thing for the enemy. We're going to be supporting those with zone troopers for our anti-air capability, mainly. And so if we're facing Nod, typically, they may go for chem buggies. So we're going to use our pit bulls here to kind of counter the chem buggies. So the strategy here is either capture the first missile or delay the launch of the first missile for as long as humanly possible. Rake in enough Tiberium to surprise them with a mammoth tank, and then begin to support that mammoth tank with anti-air units such as the pit bull, or if possible zone troopers. I know that's super expensive, but I've been kind of shifting in and out different cards into this deck, and this seems to be the combo with a mammoth tank at the core. This seems to be the combo that I'm having the most success with. I think I just won 3 or 4 games in a row with this deck up in Master 3 League here. So I think I got a good feel for it. I just wanted to show this to you guys. So the mammoth tank is one of those really cool cards. I think that it's super cool. I love the way that it looks, the animations, everything about it is just really appealing. But they're super hard to use, and there will be times that you won't even be able to get one out on the map before the game is over. And so that's why I want to reiterate the fact that we're going to be focusing on holding off the first missile. If not capturing the first missile, we want to just delay the launch for as long as possible while defending our harvesters, obviously. Okay, so I've been having some decent success. Like I said, I'm going to need, obviously, to practice here with this deck. But let's get into some battles here.
Establishing battlefield control. Three, two, one. New objective available.
Harvester ready.
Building online. Unit ready.
Moving out.
Unit ready.
Let's dig in over there.
Unit ready.
Unit ready. You got it. Keep reporting. Move. Rifleman. Marching orders received.
Building online.
Pitbull ready to race.
Unit lost.
Leading. Move out. Pitbull's a bite bigger than my bark.
Unit enhanced.
What move to last? Pedal to the metal.
Unit ready.
Bite bigger than my. We've got this. Pitbull.
Unit
Let's do
lost.
this. Moving out. Pedal to the metal. They don't stand a chance. Blast my bite bigger than my bark. Pitbull ready for anything. Unit moving out.
Harvester ready. Building online.
All right, let's do this. Blast the burning rubber. Pitbull here with a green light. Reporting. I'm on it.
Nuclear missile launched. Unit ready.
I'm on it. Crystals are calling.
Unit ready.
Troopers of Mammoth waiting. Mammoth will crash them.
Unit enhanced.
Zone troopers ready to punch through. Gonna pound them. Mammoth migrating. We've got this.
Unit ready.
You got it. Sergeant's party. Releasing target. No problemo.
Unit enhanced.
Fortune is shutting this party down. Gonna pound moving out. Dropless and boots are moving.
Warning. Enemy ion cannon activated. Unit lost.
Alright, so that was a really good first match for us there. That's exactly what we want. I do not know why the game is hung. So that's unfortunate. It's almost like the missile hit as soon at the same time that I killed it with the mammoth tank, and now it's bugged. So that's unfortunate, but you can kind of see the strategy there. I was just holding off, just, you know, trying to distract for as long as possible. Just swapping missile pads, you know, taking down his troops where and when I can, poking at his harvester, you know, just harassing him basically, and just really focused on building towards that first mammoth tank. And then when you get that out, you really want to be careful not to lose it immediately, because that's such a high investment. As for the game here, it seems as though it is frozen. So that's a bug, clearly. I'm a programmer myself, so I'm wondering if the fact that oh no, the missile didn't even launch, did it? Huh. Oh, there we go. Good. I don't have to reboot. Nice. That was weird. Alright. So, you can kind of see how I'm going with this. We're just going to poke, harass, and prod the defenses. Well, you know, if they become extremely aggressive, we're going to be extremely defensive. We're not really going to turn super aggressive until we field our first mammoth tank, if that's possible. So it's really just a rush for the Tiberium, hold off the missile, head for the mammoth tank.
Establishing battlefield control. Three, two, one. New objective received.
Time to harvest.
Building online. Unit ready.
Green light. I don't like it.
Unit lost.
You got it.
Unit lost. Unit ready.
You got it.
Unit ready.
All right, bros. Flex those muscles. Rifleman. Move, move, move.
Unit enhanced.
We're gonna tear him up.
Unit ready.
Marching orders received.
Harvester ready.
Harvester.
Unit enhanced. Unit ready.
Then we'll look for action. Then we'll let it burn and rubber.
Unit enhanced.
All right, let's do this.
Missile cancelled. Building online.
Crystals are called. Blast them. Green light. A fight.
Unit ready.
After all troopers lead the charge.
Missile launched.
Rifleman ready. Moving out.
Major structural damage perceived.
Put hell to the metal. Rifle troopers on the move. Shutting this party down.
Unit enhanced.
All right, let's do this. Get it, we've got this.
Unit lost.
Troopers ready.
Unit ready.
I'm on it. Zone troop. You got it. Infantry, move out. Gun squad is thinking. Let's gun him down. Drop us in boots or move. Mammoth tank prime.
Unit lost.
Ready for action. Mammoth fighting.
Unit ready.
Troopers, this is gonna be bad. Mammoth waiting. Bring it up. You got it.
Unit lost.
Mammoth, the crash pad.
Unit enhanced.
Let's have some fun. Let's party. No troop.
Unit ready.
Moving out. Not the crash pad.
Nuclear warhead launched. Unit lost. Unit ready.
Mammoth ready to roll.
Unit enhanced.
Ready flag. Mammoth migrating. Yeah, let's have some fun. Let's party.
Nuclear weapon launched. You are victorious.
Alright, so that was another good example of a good game. That time I had to give up the first missile. Obviously, had I known that he was coming with the scarabs, I would have went out with my rifleman a little bit further. But you can see how strong of a combo. If you just put down a rifleman kind of shield, as it were, in front of your machine gun squads, those will eat up attack bikes. They'll eat up, lightly armored vehicles, and infantry just get wrecked by those machine gun squads. And if nobody can get to them, if you can put up a wall of, say, war dogs, something that's cheap, war dogs, riflemen, anything like that, even rocket people, rocket soldiers, something that's cheap that you can just block the way, and then use some of your natural barriers to kind of give them, to cover their flanks. They will sit there, and I mean, you can see that machine gun squad for 30 Tiberium. I mean, I'll have to watch the replay, but how many attack bike squads did that guy eat up? I mean, that was fantastic. And unfortunately for this one, I didn't go for the mammoth tank exactly first. I was really wanting, when I saw that he built his second harvester, really wanting to just get that harvester kill, get some quick cash so I could get there to the mammoth. So another example of good game. I think it's a pretty balanced deck. I think it's a strong deck. I think early game it's got a good success rate. Late game, obviously, if you can get your 2 harvesters out, it's going to be kind of weak against heavy air decks. If they have the Inferno bomber, GDI's new Orca bomber, things like those are going to give you a heartburn, just because they're going to eat up your pit bull, which is your only real early game anti-air defense. So that's where your heroic charge is really going to shine, in taking down those more powerful units with your weaker ones. You're going to want to distract with one, and then heroic charge a second to come in and really get some good damage. The plus side of that is those units that I just mentioned, those air units, are much more expensive. So you can afford to throw 2 or 3 pit bulls at a Inferno bomber that cost 100, for example. You can afford to make that trade. It's a real expensive unit, especially early game, and then by the time you get to late game, you have your zone troopers, and it's not really a problem. You can heroic charge those, and those will eat right through nearly any air unit that they can throw at them. So another good example. I really like this deck. I think I'm going to practice with it a little more and continue using it. Like I said, I kind of spent this morning swapping in and out cards, kind of seeing what works, what doesn't. The 2 things I really wanted to focus on were the machine gun squads, because of their additional movement speed makes those now viable. And I really wanted to get to the mammoth tank. Like I said, it's a cool unit, cool animation, the whole idea of it, the fact that it rolls over infantry, all really cool things about it. So I wanted to build a deck around that. So that's my new deck. I'll probably play one more here, and then I'm going to take a little break, and then I'd like to try and put together a nod deck that uses advanced units. I don't have any at the moment. Nod decks, that is, that has the advanced units in it. All of my nod decks are single Tiberium Harvester decks. So I'd like to put together something a little different with nod. So I may work on that after this game, just kind of starting the process of thinking about what units I want to use, and then try and build the deck around that idea. So we're going to play one more here, and then take a little break.
Establishing battlefield control. Three, two, one. New objective available. Unit ready.
You got it. No pain, no gain.
Harvester ready.
Harvester here. Harvester, ready to collect.
Unit lost.
This thing's really heavy.
Unit enhanced.
And we're gonna
Protect the Tiberium!
Building online.
We're outgunned! Moving out.
Unit ready.
People looking for action. My bite is bigger than my bark. All right, let's do this.
Unit lost. Unit ready.
Moving up. Let's get 'em. Pedal to the metal.
Unit lost. Warning, our base is under attack. Unit enhanced. Warhead launched. Unit ready.
We've got this.
Major structural damage received.
Burning rubber. All right, let's do this. Reporting. I'm on it.
Harvester here.
Blast pedal to the metal. Riflemen awaiting orders. Right, they don't stand a chance.
Harvester under attack.
Don't let
Unit ready.
you the juice. Hit my bite is bigger than my bark. Moving out.
Unit lost.
Leading, marching.
Unit ready.
Scouting.
Harvester ready.
All right, let's do this. Hit pedal to the metal.
Unit lost.
You got it. Time to harvest.
Unit ready.
Bigger than my bark.
Harvester ready.
Got it.
Unit lost. Unit enhanced.
Do this.
Nuclear missile launched. Mission failed.
Alright, so not a great way to end that little run there. I don't know if the mistake was as obvious to you as it was to me, but clearly fielding only one troop, I didn't see him doing anything. So I kind of thought he was building 2 harvesters, so I was just going to build 2 harvesters and surprise him with zone troopers and mammoth tank. But then he pinned me down with pit bulls and ruined my whole day. So, I mean, once that happened, I had no missile squads to defend. Not to say that I would use missile squads, because I don't think this deck needs them. Had I done what I should have done, and when I saw his war dogs, I should have immediately built my war factory and started pumping out pit bulls to deal with the war dogs and whatever else was coming. That was the linchpin that destroyed me. I shouldn't have gotten greedy and gone for my harvester. You know, I was getting a little too big for my britches. I was on a pretty good win streak there, feeling pretty good about the deck, and then I just got knocked down a couple of notches by being overconfident. So take that as a lesson. We're going to continue to practice with this deck. I'm going to try and formulate a NOD advanced unit deck for this evening, and I'm going to try and play around with that. Swap cards in, swap cards out. It's going to be really hard because I really love the NOD deck that I have now, the main one that I always use. It's going to be hard to give that guy up because I really do like him. That's this one here. There's something for everybody in this deck. So And the thing about Nod is, when you look at it, there's nothing in here in the Temple of Nod that super stands out and shines. I mean, obviously there's the Avatar, but I don't know, the fact that it doesn't run troops over like the Mammoth tank makes it less appealing to me. I mean, the Basilisk, not bad, but super weak to air units. You know, you're pretty much defenseless for a unit that costs 120. I just don't see the value in being completely defenseless for that. So, you know, I haven't really ever given these guys a shot here, the Confessors. So maybe we'll try and do something with those. Build a you know, infantry-centric deck. The other thing we can do is we can use, what's her name here? Jade. And put together a Tiberium missile deck. I used to use those back in the day where you rush their base with a couple of these guys. And I don't know if you know this, not only does the gas clouds ignite individually, but the units themselves, the actual buggy, is a separate explosion. So if you can get 2 of these, spray the entire front of their base so each tile has a Tiberium cloud on it. Once you hit that with the missile, it blows up 1, 2, 3, 4 times, plus the 2 units, which is half a, when you do it right, it's half or half in a little piece of their entire bar, the health bar for the base. So usually what I try to do is I try and capture the first missile, and as the first missile is going off, I'll rush their base with these, and then try and spray the whole front, and then launch a Tiberium missile and end it. But I really wanted to do a Temple of Nod. There's nothing in here that I really, you know, I think they updated this guy here so he doesn't suck so bad, because it used to not fire. There was like a cone of fire, and you had to physically turn him every time, and it made him useless. See, they lowered the cost of the spider. I think they lowered the cost of this too. I think, didn't it used to be 120? I don't know. I thought it was more than that. But in any event, I'm going to continue practicing with the Mamithon Madness. That's what I'm going to nickname that one. Mamithon Madness here, and try and put together an advanced unit Temple of Nod deck. Oh yeah, and then there's this. So you'll see I didn't do real great for the Rivals Credit Blitz. Not real great. So that's kind of actually what sparked this. Let's try and do some new strategies with new decks and new cards idea this morning for me. So that's that. That is the Mamithon Madness along with the strategy guide. So I hope you guys will try this out. I hope you guys find it as fun as I do. You know, I was on a pretty good streak there until I got a little overzealous. So I think it's a good deck, a strong deck. I think it's solid and balanced. So hope you guys have as much fun as I did with it, and I will see you guys later.